Yeah. Alright.
Hello and welcome. This is the Lion and Bear Report. I'm Spaceline. And we did our intro right. We did our jobs. I guess we shouldn't applaud ourselves too hard. But welcome and hello to those in the chat. Week 8. Goodness, it feels like we're getting into the end part of the season. But yeah, I guess on that note, how's your end of the season looking? Still. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's no fun. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, shoot. I forgot to unmute you. Hold on. All right. Sorry about that.
All right, so hopefully you can hear me now.
Yes. Yeah. Joined by
So I am Kodiak.
Damn it.
I'll do the quick version of what I was saying then, just to get back up to speed.
Yeah.
Played Nurgle this week. Bigger team than mine, more developed, more pieces. Lost 2-0, which is bad, but good. Only lost a Rotter. I was sad that it was a Rotter. That was a trophy.
Yeah.
But I can live with
trophy,
it.
Right?
It was a playoff trophy, and it was named Nurgle food. Like the Rotter was specifically bought in order for me to kill. Sorry, the thrall that died was bought specifically so I could kill it to turn into a Rotter. So it was kind of nice in that sense.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
It's still just a Rotter. And this week I go into playing a 1200 TV Skaven team. So that'll hopefully be like a chiller experience. Maybe I'll still lose, right? Because Skaven can always surprise you. But at least I shouldn't just get horribly murdered.
Well, unless it's a Skaven team.
No claw.
One
piece has Mighty Blow.
Okay.
The other was unleveled Blitzer. It basically has a couple gutter runners that are fast and agile.
Gotcha.
Those are the only development it has. So it's just again, they might just run all over me. But
yeah,
I'm less worried this week as compared to last week that I'm just gonna lose a lot of my nice pieces.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's me. Just kind of playing games.
Well,
so let's talk about some people who had better games than I did.
Yeah. I mean, and you're kind of hinting at this, but it's week 8, and some as we'll get into with the we've got a little bit of a surprise around the leaderboards. As we'll get into there are some people that are just really at this point looking towards next season. But before we get to that, let's talk about our week 8 matchups. And first up we have our once again division leader Goblins on deck, beating up on different pro elves across the Empire who we keep saying this, but has had a very rough season.
Yeah, this is our current number 1 team versus our current number 14 team, and 2-0 seems about right for that. I have not seen this match though, so I don't know if could this have been worse.
I don't know. That's a difficult question to answer, because I think Tim Nielsen had a very specific plan in mind for this game, and that was we're not even gonna let the elves have time for elfie bullshit. So I did watch this game, and let me pull up my notes real quick. But the Skaven wanted, I mean, you can see it on the sheet right here, right? They were going to foul, and they, even without having any sort of bench, I think at one point they may have gotten a bribe on a kickoff, but it didn't stem the flow of rats headed towards Expulsion Town. But yeah, they chose to receive, and they wanted to basically, as they promised in last recap, step on some Pro Elf neck. The Pro Elves did get a Mercenary Thrower and a Wandering Apo, which I think were suggestions that we made, but didn't end up preventing horrible damage being thrown their way. The turn one, Skaven got Kaz right out, got two casualties on Pro Elves right out the gate. And one of those was Tabellion, Cromwella, the Blitzer, first Blitz, knockdown, badly hurt, gone. And I have in my notes, fire this player, which I think you've already alluded to, that this player may have already been fired. When we were talking
that guy got fired after this match. He will no longer be around. But yeah, I can believe that he was a liability on the field, particularly for him to be exposed to pick a blitz.
Yeah. It was. They were on
double niggle, like, man.
Oh my god!
You just look at that like, oh my god.
Yeah. Well, especially going up against a strength up. Oh god, I just saw the sheet. I forgot that he got strength up on his other one. But a strength up Storm Vermin with tackle. That piece was like, oh sweet. I mean, I think they thought they had him tucked away, but they were just on this they were doing the defense where you're basically spread out across the whole line. I'll remember the name later on, but had chevrons. They were doing chevrons, but they had the blitzer on the far end of one, and any good coach is looking for a suitable target for a blitz, and a double niggled armor busted elf is going to be that. So yeah, they managed to cast that, another piece on the LOS. I think given that they already had taken two pieces off the field, the rats started fouling right away and got a stun. And so, yeah, it was like, the elves at that point were just trying to punch gutter runners, didn't get any damage. The Skaven continued to do what they were doing. They got a couple more removals, just KOs, but one was on a foul that also resulted in a send-off, in one of the 4 send-offs. So the elves are like, maybe we should pressure the backfield. At that point, the Skaven just had the ball in the backfield while they were beating up on elves. It was like their first 3 turns. But on turn 3, the Skaven went to try to score, and they actually snaked the pass. But the ball wasn't in a super great spot for the elves. They tried to set up like a counter score, but they couldn't pick up the ball. They couldn't knock down the gutter runner that had passed. I think it was Triform Cutter who had sidestep. Like, they blitzed it, but it didn't knock it down, and so it was still next to the ball, and they couldn't pick up the ball. So the Skaven at that point just wanted, at that point, a lot of the elves were based up. So the Skaven just okay, we'll go back to beating you up. And they did. And turn 4 was horrendous for the Pro Elves. So there was a badly hurt on the rookie catcher who got apoed and put back on the sideline. This was one of the Storm Vermin had done work on it. And then there was a foul on the 86 niggled guard lineman that killed it. But then there was the second Apo came out to keep it alive, but give it a second niggle. And this was the turn where I was like, I don't know. Watching it, I was a little frustrated. As somebody who let go perfectly healthy guard piece that was just a little bloaty to death, I would think you would be quite happy with death. I mean, not like I can get why you're using your appos at that point. Like, it had already felt like you were hemorrhaging players, but that's not the lineman to Apo. Like, you have another guard lineman. Keep your Apo for that. You have 12 more turns to endure.
And this is not like Tabalon Null. Well, can't even say the agility up, strength up catcher, where you'd be like, sure, he's got an armor bust, but he's also got 2 stat ups.
Right.
And so maybe you like willing to invest in that.
Yep. It's not even, again.
This is a double.
Yeah, it's a double. It's a nice double, but at this point, 2 perms in, and you have another double lineman. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll try not to harp on it anymore, but this turn was brutal for the elves, but like losing both of your appos, one of which I would not have used, was frustrating to watch a little bit. So I think they really could have held on to that, and been able to like use that a little more strategically, or at least like had some safety net for some of these other players. Yeah. But, at that point, there were, I think, so we get to turn 5, and there's 4 elves left. So the Skaven are just stalling and fouling, and, they get another KO, but get another send-off at the same time, and, then get badly hurt. And I think there's 1 elf left by turn 7. Which managed to surf a line rat, based on what the Skaven had been doing, which they had surfed somebody and left somebody in surfing position. So the elves get a surf. That's where their 1 surf comes in, but they get no break on that at all. And Skaven score in turn 8 as up 1-0. And at that point, we're at 7 elves to 9 Skaven. Just because Skaven has had 2 pieces thrown out of the game. But yeah, so second half, elves set up for a 2-turn, but just with 1 scoring threat. So the Skaven, and that was the other blitzer with agility up and tackle. Skaven blitz that down, which results in an M&G. And so at that point, the elves try to spread the field a little bit, but they only have 5 elves. It's just not able to happen. The Skaven are able to cover it pretty well, and they keep fouling and punching. And elves try to get to midfield and fail. Throwers all by themselves. In the backfield, the Skaven blitz the ball carrier, but fail to bring them down on turn 11. And so the elves bust free on turn 12, but they don't actually throw it, which I have to believe. I was watching the replay, and so maybe it was just they ran out of time. They dodged out the thrower. They had a piece downfield open, and they just dodged out the thrower and sat them in the middle of the backfield. And so I feel like that probably was just running out of time. Or maybe they thought they could absorb another blitz from the Skaven, but they don't. Skaven get the thrower down, and have plenty of pieces around the ball. They're doing a bunch of fouling still. They tried to foul. I think they put on 3 or 4 fouls on the agi up, strength up catcher, and didn't manage anything other than a KO, I think, at one point.
We got Tim Nielsen point out in chat that the reason they didn't do the pass was because it was snowing. And so it was impossible for them to pass far enough to make it happen.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about the weather for this match in my notes. Yeah, that makes sense. Which they may have realized at that point, or just kind of hoped at that point that they could absorb it. There were a disturbing amount of non-important GFIs taken that kept failing, and I remember, the blizzard obviously doesn't help with that. But yeah, Skaven managed to obviously secure it, stall out to turn 16, fouling all the way through. They did all their passes happened on the last 4 turns of the game. where Trashmaster was just like throwing it back and forth while they were waiting for turn 16 to score with somebody else. Like Trashmaster had needed 4 SVP and got it all on vanity passes in the final quarter of the game.
Got a nice level out of it too.
Yes, God. So yeah, that was pretty much the game. Obviously, Skaven had a game plan. It started working off the bat. Again, kind of taking that aggressive approach, even without a bench, even without a bribe, and managed to, like you said, get some nice development out of it, and really be sitting pretty in first place.
So it sounds like a nice win for Tim Nielsen, who was able to accomplish everything he wanted to accomplish, both in terms of like the strategy for the match and getting development in some nice places.
Yeah, and just an absolute, quite a bit of a bloodbath for the Pro Elves, who you gotta imagine that Lyman gets tossed and they're already like down on pieces, but the one that took the agility bust, which I think was on the LOS at the start, you have the other guard Lyman taking another niggle, and being down your good blitzer for next match. It's just been a snowball of a season of just damage coming their way.
Well, fortunately, it's coming to an end.
That is true. That is, I guess, a silver lining. I don't know. Yeah. Yes, we're definitely in the back half there. So, but yeah, that is that for that match. Saying that Pile Driver had a great game. Yeah, the Storm Vermin were on fire the whole first half. They were doing such good work. It shows like why I think you take the time to try to get them Mighty Blow so they can start doing some work, even if you have like some quick gutter runners that can score all the time. Like, get the ball to your Storm Vermin, get them Mighty Blow, so they can start developing on their own and be just as nasty as this, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great looking team.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Ready to go to the second match? Oh yeah, this was a good one. I watched a little bit of this on stream, but I think you have more of the notes on this. Big tie here. Yeah.
This is our now second place team, in part because of this game, getting a tie. Open the match. Orcs, win the coin toss. They choose to kick, and so we're going to see the elf offense first. That's a classic bash decision there. And basically, what we see is the elf removals like really accumulate through the first quarter. The orcs pressure the ball. They're actually able to knock down the ball, though it's being held deep at one point, but they don't recover it. Elves get it back, move up the field. They then try to like reapply pressure, and there's a snake eye GFI on their part to bring, I believe it was a black work around.
Oh man!
And it was one of the earlier moves that was going to basically set up. Afterwards, there was essentially going to be a blitz in to try to like really pressure the ball carrier, not actually hit the ball carrier, but like put someone next to it. And a number of blitzers that hadn't moved yet to like cover the new position. And so when this black work, double ones, it just totally screws them up. And that means the elves are able to delay for a while and only leave the orcs 2 turns. That's not technically impossible for the orcs, but it ended up then being a riot. That drops a turn, and then it actually is impossible. They're not going to one turn. So they're not going to one turn when they're not even set up the one turn, even if they were going to pull it off in general. And then so there was do you have a sheet on the kick situation?
Oh, I do. Yeah. Let me
okay,
pull that up.
So yeah, the second half we see the elves kicking to the orcs, and you might notice for the elves have they have a kicker who I believe, yes, they have a kicker. But so, and I believe the story of what happened here was that Unreal Pike, the elf kicker, had previous turns been injured, and like I believe it was a KO, and he'd been off the field for the 2-turn kick, so he didn't take that kick. He then comes back for the second half, and the game this is just one thing it does. Normally, it's supposed to select the kicker automatically to make the kick.
Right.
If there had been a previous kick in the match made by someone else, that person is like logged in as the default choice. So you can overcome that, but you have to like notice that you're not getting the kicked prompt, like that the area that it might land in is like that box is too big.
Right.
And go find your kicker, click on them, and then it should work. It doesn't always work. I've heard of people trying that and just like the game refuses to use the kick skill.
Oh no.
But in general, that should happen. That yeah, if you have a kicker and you don't have them in the wide zones and you don't have them on the line, but they're still not coming up, find them, click on them, then do the kick. You don't have a ton of time, so you'll need to like, which is one of those, like you need to know how to do it going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you will not kick into your own half of the field. That's not a legal kick destination.
Right.
So it's not going to like accidentally have you do a super short kick that definitely ends in your half.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah, that came up in this match. Seemed the coach hadn't seen it before, so we thought we would mention it here.
Yeah.
In case anyone was unaware of this. Yeah, but okay, so the second half, the elves get a blitz. But fortunately it was, I believe, a deep kick, and so they can pressure the ball, but they don't actually get to grab it. And basically the orcs are spended grinding up the field. The elves keep trying to apply pressure, but the orcs just keep getting removals. As you can see, there was a number of casualties, the 4 casualties that actually stuck. There had been a eagle on White Raven, that beautiful blitzer, but that's where the apple went. So great use of it in terms of ammo usage.
Yes,
that's a nice one to keep healthy. But yeah, basically, and then you'll notice there was 8 KO sustained for the pro elves.
Goodness,
to throw for the orcs. Yeah, and so they just didn't have the people on the field. The elves do knock away the ball at one point, but the orcs get it back shortly, and they score fairly safely. And that was sort of the match. Yes, so there were some fine plays, but it was really just orcs grinding up the field the way they want to by getting enough elves off the field that they actually have space to move into.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, you see 28 breaks on 28 blocks succeeded. So I imagine there's quite a bit of fouling.
I believe there was some fouling as part of that. It was not, but it's still, yes. Lots of armor breaks, lots of stuns. And again, stuns, even if that's knocking you off the field, create space for you to move into.
Yeah. I guess that also counts piling on too. I think that double counts it, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, some good development for the orcs as well as the pros too. Hawk is now officially everybody's problem. Just like a pest in so many ways.
Yeah, it's a really nice piece.
And yeah, on the flip, orcs getting two levels on their blitzers is pretty good for them. I guess they're still deciding on Chris Brown.
Yes, now that wasn't normal, so it's not like, they're trying. It's some unexpected. It was simply they have 2 kinds of blitzers, right?
Yeah.
They have a blitzer kind of blitzer, and they have a like pillar kind of blitzer. They have a straight 3 black orcs style build.
Yeah.
And once you do guard stand firm, it's like what's the next one after that? And they're thinking maybe grab. But they just hadn't decided yet. Whereas G Cole I think was an easy call of had guard, now it's got stand firm.
Yeah.
Which means it's got 2 of those, which is very nice.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
The next time any of those black orcs levels, they'll get the same. Which has the advantage of stopping everything but a natural 1-turner. If you can get 3 stand firm put together, then There are ways to maybe get one out of it if you have like one push out of it if you have Juggernaut. But though it works better if the piece that's getting hit has sidestep, because it's basically you have to like push it back in. But still, it's a hugely effective way to stop everything but the natural one turn, which of course this division has some of.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if they've come up against that yet, but yeah. Well, it was from what I watched of it, good to see some normalcy, I guess, with the regards to who was getting bashed and who was bashing.
Cloud Thulu, did not manage to outbash the orcs.
Right.
That would have been a hell of a thing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, definitely good on that side of it. But yeah, I think the orcs were gonna be, unless they could like wipe out the Pro House or force them to score really quickly, which did not happen. It was gonna be hard for them to 2-1 this or get 2 scores in general. The second touchdown that they were looking for was to either turn over the elves or to force them to score quickly. And they tried for the former, and it kind of stretched them out some. And when they then tried to like get back in position to pressure, that Snake Eyed go for it just killed that effort. Yeah.
And it was interesting to see Vera Gulchler. I don't know if I've actually seen him in a match before, but it's a neat player.
Yeah, I don't really remember seeing him, and looking at that stat line, that is ridiculous. It's like, wow, if I had known that was on the table, yes, I totally would have just told you to get that.
Yeah, only orcs can take them. So it has to be a situation where orcs are getting 290. And that's not all that common.
Yeah. Though this season has seen them with some inducements, but this was a good match for it, for sure.
Yeah. Well, in some of their matches, like if you're up against Chaos, right, and you get like a bunch of inducements, like, well, I'm gonna get a second Apothecary because they've got claw, right?
Right.
And here it's against the elves where it's like, okay, these guys block Mighty Blow. Just do more damage.
Yeah. Thick Skull's nice addition to, especially against these elves that like to punch stuff, and jump up's fun. So yeah, sounds like a good match. And again, just glad to see some balance restored to the universe.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to move on to the next one?
Yeah. Oh yeah, this was our one. I remember us talking about this in the recap of like, you never know if the Necro, because we know how Punosaurus plays, and if that starts to work for them, it could be problems for Chaos. And it looks like it worked for him. I came in.
Yeah.
I think you told me about like what was happening in this match because I play Goatwork Orange next.
Right.
You were like, "There's blood on the field. This is madness. The Apo's gone." It's like, all right, I'm tuning in. But yeah, why don't you take us through, what you saw in the first half and walk us through the second.
So my notes for the first half are basically just like timelines of removals on the Goatwork Orange team.
Yeah.
So one thing I'll note for this, we had talked about in last week's preview of this that Troxbirds had a level 2 stadium but no enhancement. Yeah. So the security gate is new.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
There also both sides bought new players for this game. That Butterscotch is a new Beastman, and God, Punosaurus, and I assume is just a stab directly in our eyes, bought 2 more Quintus Troublemakers. Taking it from what I assume was an accidental like doubling up into clearly just a response to our complaints.
Straight up Troll Town from Arfarf.
So we'd originally been very excited when one of them died, thinking like, oh, problem solved.
Yeah,
like, no,
I was like, oh yeah, Quintus got hurt. So that's, and that, I think Some research was done to discover that this was the original Quintus the Troublemaker.
Yes.
So then his clone spawns are just like spawning more clones, turns out. Yes.
No, you're actually not allowed to do that.
Yes.
It's Tim Nielsen. But I'm not going to be the person.
Yeah. We're
go to the advance.
Yeah, we're recappers. We're not rules administrators, but yeah, I mean, nature will probably take its course. It did with one of them, but I think point made is what I would say for us.
But okay, so in terms of the actual match, so Necro wins the toss and they choose to receive. Again, classic decision, bash on bash. Be like, I'm going to be the one to get to use my claws first. Apo goes to Clownfish, who died on turn 2. Obviously got better and got back into the match.
Yeah.
But that's where that went. The big loss for the Necro was Legless 2.0 leaving the field, and that happened on turn 3.
Wow.
That was Santol's ejection.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Was him foully legless, which that you're happy to make that trade.
Yeah.
But that was the only big removal that Troxberg was able to get. Right, we have the death on a zombie, we have a badly hurt zombie, and then no KOs. Whereas there was 5 KOs for the Chaos team and a few casualty removals. Turn 3 was Legless 2.0 being fouled off. Turn 4, the other Wolf takes out Hessenite in Retribution. And so by the end of the first quarter, Troxbirds is at this point down to 5 pieces on the field.
Oh my God.
And the Necro has 9. And Troxbirds at this point is just trying to stay alive. And he's just trying to make damage hits. He's ignoring the ball just to try to get some sort of quality. By turn 6, Troxbirds is down to 3 pieces. By turn 7, it's 2 pieces. So the Necro score was pretty easy. And turn 8 sees Lil trying to foul.
Yes. Yeah.
Just to try to get ejected from the game, but the ref won't go for it. I believe it was a 1 and a 2. It's either the armor break or the injury check, which is as bad as it can get without actually being an ejection.
Right.
So Chaos in the second half, they managed to 6 pieces from Chaos coming back and the fact that they did have a bench. And Necro at this point is out the Strength plus Wolf and that ejection.
Right.
But because they also have a bench, they have 11 pieces to field.
Yeah.
The second half kind of teases some Chaos opportunities to score. And they do actually get a couple more removals, as you can see. But they end up losing the ball to the Necro. We're just able to get a shot on it, and they just can't get it back. And the last quarter, we see Troxbirds in just full survival mode. And at which point, Little Unf does successfully foul himself out of the game. The second half. So basically, both halves, Necro very much had it in control for basically the entire first half and most of the second half. Once they managed to get at this diminishing Chaos team and take the ball off of them. Big win for Ponosaurus. After a disappointing loss for Troxbirds. In terms of development, obviously no levels for the Necro team. They're down, they'll have to rebuy that Quintus. I'm sure he'll come back with the same name.
No, Ponosaurus is in chat saying they didn't realize that that was a admin no.
Oh, okay.
So we might see something else. You could do a pun off of that, and we'll appreciate the effort again to troll us.
I think I don't think you're in trouble for it, but I would suggest as they die, new names. Go work Orange Development. We got Santo gain a level. Not really a fish want to get a level. Given the
he was. Troxford was talking about this maybe taking the movement up so you'd have more range for fouling people. That's not what I would do. I would take Wrestle and ignore the 5x5. I would take the cheapest skill you can get.
And frankly, if I was tempted to use the special, it would be more likely to do dodge. because it'll make the guy more survivable, and it also, in its own way, makes him more maneuverable.
Right.
I would probably still just take Wrestle and be looking to cycle this guy.
Yeah.
Beastmen are already 60k. Like, they are on the expensive side for fouling pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, I think recycling is probably a good idea. Though they did they have a lot of cash. I was gonna say they just spent a bunch of cash, but I guess
he just keeps getting cash.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That cash probably total was not updated after the purchase. I don't. Okay. It's not easy to do that.
No.
I think he actually doesn't have a ton right now.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll probably see it.
We could talk about that when we do the preview.
Yep. Totally. But yeah, nice win for Ponosaurus for sure. Who's like reinserted themselves into the conversation for postseason after kind of an up and down start, I would say. And Goatwork Orange, who we thought was like a pretty clear upper echelon team, is now kind of with the second tier.
Still doing well. But
yeah, for sure.
We'll see in the leaderboard and such. That he's still very much in it, just not quite as well defined a third place.
Yeah.
Insecticide. Yes, he did foul with the ball carrier to save him. He tried that on turn 8, and the ref was like, "Nah, I don't care." He then tried again on turn 4. He then tried again on turn 14, and the ref this time was like, "Fine, you can leave the field."
Yeah.
And got him off.
Yeah.
Because it was just a disastrous match for him. Just the armor breaks were awful.
Yeah, it does.
And it hit a point where he knew he was going to lose and just wanted to save the good pieces. And in the two best pieces, right, are Hesonite, who has his MNG, and Lalung, who
oh man,
is
would have been so good.
Needed his own way off the field.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so that brings us to match number 4, in which we have the Tainted Brewers taking it to peak altitude. I don't remember this match at all. I wonder if I watched it.
So I don't know if you watched it. I watched it. So the Chorfs chose to kick here.
Yeah.
That again, there's actually a lot of similarities between this match and the Orc match.
Oh. Okay.
The difference being their ability to respond to the Elf drive. But so in this case, the Chorfs kick. High Elves hold deep for a bit. They when they're moving up, they do there's a loner that they had dodge, who failed his dodge. And this kind of ended up putting him in a really bad position. And there's sort of a natural thing of when you do a loner dodge, don't ever re-roll it.
Yeah.
In this case, it was at the start of the it was at the end of the first quarter, and so they ended up with 4 turns left after that with 3 rerolls, which is maybe more than you need.
Yeah, maybe.
And the failed dodge ended up being they weren't able to complete a screen off well enough, so the Chorfs go after the ball. It takes them a couple of turns, but Chorfs are able to get the ball safely then under their control on turn 6. So at which point Pim Pim starts thinking about, what can I score here in my remaining 2 turns?
Yeah.
He basically, I think, makes the correct choice to focus on keeping the ball safe. Send up scoring threats, but cage up in the backfield, even if it made it somewhat less likely he was going to score. And he only did anything with ball handling that exposed the ball on turn 8, and obviously Darkhanage had already played his turn 8 at that point.
Yeah.
So it's locked in that he can't score. But basically, a Bull Centaur is given 2 chances to catch the ball. It's a 4+. He can't make either of them. So, unfortunately, didn't get a touchdown in the first half. But they come out of the High Elf drive 0-0, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
And frankly, the second half was actually really, I think, a little bit on the boring side. Chorfs got their full 11 team. The High Elves are down to 8. You see some High Elves leave the field, and the Chorfs just grind up in a very the way they do. They score in turn 16. And nothing really that jumped out to me in the second half as super exciting. Just
gotcha.
The Chorf drive working the way you'd want it to.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's a sort of game Pim-Pim's been wanting for a while, of just like
Right.
winning because the Chorfs do what they're supposed to be able to do.
Yeah. Got some breaks. Some casualties here and there.
No apothecaries ended up being used by either team.
Oh, interesting.
But that's because no one really took interesting damage.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like basically, it's like, are you gonna power Apo Matterhorn? Right. Like.
Nope.
Yeah. So, sort of uneventful in that sense. 2 levels out of it. You got Krakatoa getting a move up. That's nice. Presumably there'll be some build that leans into that.
Mm-hmm.
And Mickey Bantle, the Bull Centaur, got a double. And sort of a question like, do you even bother to take that?
Yeah,
I think the answer is no.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Given you have dodge, but that's why it's unassigned.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. I guess we can look at it in the preview sheet, but I don't know what else you would get it. I guess. Yeah, I mean, not. Yeah, I would definitely wouldn't do double. Maybe you could start shifting it towards like a ball hawk bull centaur or something. I don't know. But
I'd
like,
just take break tackle.
What's that?
I'd probably just take break tackle.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's great on them, and you have dodge, makes it better.
Yeah.
And it's like boring, but like, and then after that, you personalize them, right? You make one of them into like, you make them into like utility blitzers that aren't damage blitzers, right?
Right.
You do one of them with frenzy, and I don't know what the other one.
Yeah, I guess if
Chorfs are kind of boring, frankly, in my opinion. They have boring builds. Chorfs have boring builds, in my opinion.
They do. Yeah,
it's my least favorite part of the thing about the team. It's like it's a good team.
Yeah.
But it's just like so samey.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess if with this Bull Centaur, if you were gonna do like right away, like tackle, I don't know, whatever else on it.
He talked about tackle because it's like he'd like tackle that wasn't move 4.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think you would probably go for that versus the double you got before this. And so like you took dodge, so now you got to take break tackle. I feel like it's like for Bull Centaur, that's synergy. That's the synergy you set yourself on, the path you set yourself on. So keep it up.
Yep, I would agree.
But yeah, well, and nothing too spectacular damage either way. So just kind of a 1-0 win, solid 1-0 win for Tainted Brewers, who's continuing to have a solid season, even if they hate their team.
Mm-hmm.
So got a true Lark Star happening among us, who famously went to playoffs, got to the top 8 in playoffs with a lizard team that they hated, and then immediately re-rolled after that.
Nice.
So, all right. So next match, oh man, a lot happened in this match.
Yeah.
Actually, rewatching this has helped give me some pretty good perspective on this. It was a pretty frustrating tie to come out of because of the way the Camry score happened, which was at the very end on a lot of dice. But rewatching this really started to realize how lucky I was I didn't get scored on in the first half. So off the bat, taking Ramtut threw me off completely. I didn't even know Ramtut existed.
He's a really nice piece.
It's a ridiculous piece. That's absolutely ridiculous. So you didn't put the stat line in for it, but
yeah, I've been meaning to do that on them, and I missed for him.
No, that's fine. I like it I like that you started doing it. And Ramtut has strength 6, and an additional movement. It's 5, 6, probably 1,
definitely 1,
and 9. So it's better than a Tomb Guardian in every way, and it starts out with skills. Wrestle's
you wouldn't do wrestle instead of block, but
no,
you're so happy you got one of them.
Yeah, and just that increased movement and strength makes it a stupid piece, and you now have 5 Tomb Guardians.
And he's got break tackle to use with that increased movement.
Oh my gosh. So it was like, I don't know. I mean, I was already dreading this match because the 4 Tomb Guardians with Mighty Blow that I was going to be facing, and to sit there and be like, now there's 5. Where am I going to go that there won't be a Tomb Guardian or Ramtut sitting there ready to punch me? So they, I think I chose to kick to them. I can't remember. I wanted to put them on offense because I've seen some matches where they have not been super conservative about protecting the ball, and thought I might be able to take advantage of that. Well, turns out on the kick, they get a quick snap, put Ramtut under where the ball's going to go. Ramtut catches it on a 6. So like, so funny. Yeah, I'm like, well, okay. Guess we're. I mean, I have Dauntless, but I'm not like gonna dodge my Dauntless player through to try to get a 1 die on a 6 strength piece. Like, it's not all that likely. So we had to try to chip away at them, and it did not work. They were pretty. I mean, you can see the break difference, 30-4. You can see the KO difference, 7-2. I don't even know how I got 2 KOs against them. They were doing work at removing me pretty consistently. And that's what I was saying. Like, their first half, I kept trying to get at Ultra Craig. That was like part of my goal, was to like get rid of Ultra Craig if he's exposed. And he was out front a few times, and I could not get a break on Ultra Craig. I got him. I knocked him over several times, and I could not get a break on Ultra Craig. Ultra Craig had no problem getting breaks on my players. It was like turn after turn. What's Ultra Craig doing? KOing or badly hurting one of my players. He badly hurt an Ulf on. It was like turn 3. That's where Frig Newton's got knocked out. Didn't even get to use its break tackle that it just got. And I think I even got the Yeti after Ultra and got no break. No breaks at all. So like they had a pretty good piece advantage, but as Khemri are pretty slow, they ended up they kept the ball on Ramtut the entire time. They ended up potatoing with Ramtut on turn 6 and didn't have anything else around it. And so like at that point, I was able to get a Dauntless strip ball attack on it and knock the ball free. I almost had a shot at counter scoring there, but failed. Snake to GFI, reroll 1, reroll 1 on a GFI in turn 7. That would have put me in scoring range, and that was that. Turn 8, the Khemri managed to KO the Yeti, who then was out for the rest of the match. Like the Yeti was like, okay, cool, I can sleep now. So yeah, so it was 0-0 at the half. 10v11. I ended up just saying, okay, there's still 5 Tomb Guardians on the pitch. I'm gonna try to score quickly, and if I can stall out a little bit, that'll be good, and then I get back to defense and I can try to mess with the Khemri. So I set up for a 2-turn, managed to like get the ball far enough deep, and on like a pretty fantastic pass play by 666, who's been fantastic, and was able to stall out a little bit, but that obviously was when Khemri was like, oh cool, I can just punch stuff. I think we talked about this maybe before, of like Khemri, these Khemri especially, like is the game, am I gonna be able to win this game? No? Okay, cool, I can just like punch and foul stuff. And they like at that point like really started to think that was the case. They got some pretty quick removals out of all that. They got 3 removals in turn 10, a KO, a badly hurt, and then they killed Bingbury Cobbler but I appoed and brought that back. And then I think they even had like a stun as well. And so at that point, I didn't even have players to like slow them down from coming after me. And I scored on turn 12 to put myself up 1-0. So there was, I think, 5 turns left for the Khemri, which is a good amount. But I still thought I'd be able to stall them out. Obviously did not do that. It was 8 versus 11, I think, at that point, because I obviously hadn't really removed any of them. And so they did fumble the pickup at the start. I think they even got their like kick return throw under the ball, but couldn't pick it up. Couldn't catch it, couldn't pick it up, and so I pressed in a little bit. And had them scrambling to get the ball, but they managed to do it. On turn 15, they had a good string of picking up the ball, handing it off to Ultra Craig running up the field, GFIing twice, and being in a great position. There's some positioning things that I could have done a little bit better with that turn before that. I was trying to get a score to go up 2-0 and didn't stand up a sidestep piece on the ball that would have been helpful. And as a result, they were able to put themselves in this position. I then get a frenzy blitz on the ball carrier, Ultra Craig, and couldn't knock him over. They go for the dodge out of a tackle zone to score. And that was game. And like I said, it was a frustrating way to end it. But given how many breaks I took in the first half, given how how much they were dominating me, armor break overall, like it seems like a fair score in the end.
Yeah, I liked to a certain extent the symmetry of that touchdown by the Khemri on the dodge, simply because there was a turn 1 dodge by Ultra Craig. Totally unnecessary as part of a blitz. I'm pretty sure it was just a misclick, but he's just like, cool, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Not
a problem.
Yeah,
he immediately messaged after that. He's like, oh my god, I didn't realize that was going to be a dodge. He's like, well, this doesn't bode well for me. If you're doing your misclicks, which they've made a kind of a point to mention, like, oh, I keep misclicking this game that I've been playing for so long. When those misclicks don't punish you, that's worrisome for everybody. So especially given what ended up happening with Goldberg Orange, and we'll talk about it on the leaderboards, it felt like a missed opportunity, but I didn't come out of it with any damage. Got a decent level. Not one I was super looking for. I didn't need anything else from this thrower really, but felt alright. And I finally got a dirty player back. Both
of those are real nice.
Which I told Craig Pipup that was an honor of our match, that piece got dirty player. The best skill in the game, I believe.
Yes, we've been told that.
Yeah. Cool. So that was game 5. Next up was, oh man, this barn burner. There's a few barn burners in this week, but this was wild. I think
one of 2 6-touchdown matches this week.
I think I watched some of this, but I don't have notes. Did you were able to get some notes on this, right?
Yes.
Cool.
So one note here, both trees went to this match at 0 SPP. So the fact that we see a level on the right is an indication of some of the work that dude did. This is just both teams just kept scoring. As you can tell from the 3-3. Silkwood City Slickers, they scored their first touchdown on turn 3. It actually passed to a journeyman who scored, which
that's interesting.
Which is exciting, but it got him a touchdown. All bark, no bite. Then gets the ball. They're turn 5. They have a play where they're trying to move rapidly up the field. I think to score, though they didn't get there. So I don't know for sure. But fortunately, tree squared there, the Silkwood City Slickers tree. He goes ahead and he makes an interception. It's a 6, and I had never actually seen the tree animation for interception before. He just puts one hand up and catches it, and it's just like it's like he doesn't have to leap for it. It's like no, he's already at the correct height. Yeah, he's just holding it at head level. Sadly, he does not get to carry the ball. It's handed off to the plus strength lineman. That guy, as it turned out, it was not practical to actually protect the ball carrier, and so David Leclerc gets a blitz on him, gets the ball free, and there ends up being it's in some tackle zones. He ends up having to burn the reel to get the ball up, but he then does get it. But basically, then it immediately. But then there's another pass. This time, Raven Poe passing to a journeyman who fails to cash. So there's a lot of journeyman activity in this game, right? Yeah. Because there's 3 on one side, 5 on the other.
Yeah. 6 if you count Zara, I guess.
So that means that all bark no bites will be able to get the ball, and they control for long enough to score on turn 7. Then turn 8. We have some line hits, and that's when Oak takes his MNG from some tree-on-tree violence.
Oh, I wondered, yeah.
So he's out for the second half of the match and the upcoming match. In the first half, Silkwood City Slickers definitely got the better of the damage. They go into the second half with 11. Only Classic Larry's out. There was some heat that came in on the turn 8 kickoff event. Well, All Bark No Bite has lost Ebony, the tree, the journeyman that took the cat. One of the journeyman Kaz is already there, and there's a journeyman out with heat stroke as well. So they're down a number of pieces. Second half, All Bark No Bite, 2 turns fairly easily. There's a scary reroll in there that they had to burn some rerolls in order to actually make it happen, but they get it done. Yeah. So now David Leclerc is up 2-1. Raven Poe has his piece advantage. He's able to move the ball deep into All Bark No Bite territory, and just hold it there. And he scores on turn 13 to tie it. I'm assuming hoping to then turn over All Bark No Bite to actually get the win. Yeah. But so there's a failed. So All Bark No Bite suffered some failed KO rolls and the heat. So they start their third drive, turn 13, 5 players, going up against 9.
Oh my gosh.
And so it basically means that everything he does is critical at that point, right? When there's only 5 players on the field on offense. Yeah. He was looking to move up the field, and there's a snake dodge by the ball carrier, and that puts the ball on the ground. And Raven Poe, his turn 15, immediately gets it up and scores.
Oh wow.
So David Leclerc gets a shot the 1 turn. His KOs came back. He doesn't lose anyone to the heat, and so he's able to get it done. There was a little excitement that a journeyman had to make one of the blocks in order to make things happen, and he actually rolled a knockdown, which would have been just as bad. But the reroll gets to the loner, gets the push, that gets 3-3. And no 1 turn attempt from Raven Poe. It really wouldn't have been practical. David Leclerc put 3 side steppers on the line. Oh, yeah. And so basically it's like, that'll work. It just, does anyone die? And no damage.
Yeah, and good development for both of them, I'd say.
Yeah. Tim Nielsen pointed out there was 11 pieces on the field that had loner between the 8 journeymen and the star player in the 2 trees.
Only an Elfie division. Only an elf. Yeah.
But so this was in some ways a frustrating match for David Leclerc, who I think probably got a little closer to the victory. that there was, I think, more things that they'd gone right. He could have gotten it done. It's a wild match in general. Ball, you see so often with elves, it's just the ball hitting the ground all of the time. Both teams have war dancers who can go leaping after things. Both teams super fast and agile. So it's like, who's going to roll the one at the wrong time? And or who's going to roll all the right dice at the right time and score? And you saw both of those happen.
Yeah, and as David Leclerc is pointing out, some discrepancies in the armor breaks when you have two identical teams, more or less.
Yeah, no mighty blow, and except for the trees.
Right.
And he almost fouled out Ravenpo's existing war dancer, and it just couldn't get a break.
Yeah,
it was like just a huge mega foul. But eventful match.
certainly. Like I said, looks like Silkwood's sticking with the wrestle jump up catcher model.
He was talking about that like it's actually been really working out for him, that you get these like super mobile pieces that can wrestle someone down and then just up again, wrestling someone else down.
Yeah, I think they had one before, right, that died. I guess Dave Daveman. Yeah,
he originally had two. He lost one. Now, Dave, Junior's here to
pick up the torch.
Yeah.
And walnut leveling is nice. It's a tough piece to know. I don't know what I would put on it after this.
Yeah.
Curious if David's figured that out. Unfortunate that the treeman is going to be missing for the next match.
Yeah.
What? It's plus MA?
Interesting.
Wow. That's exciting. Huh. That's fun. Yeah.
So he'll be moved 10. So, but he has 5 skills. So to actually become a natural one turner, he would need to hit legend. Which is maybe a tall order for an armor busted piece.
Maybe.
But still, really, he will be super dangerous because he can just go anywhere on the field.
Yep. Yeah, which may help its survivability too.
Yes. It's because he's like the ball recovery piece for, like, say, if it gets knocked free. So he'll get exposed if, like, that goes badly. But if it goes well, he should be able to just run away.
Yep. Which, that's, a really nice piece to have for recovery. Jeez. Everything you would want, pretty much.
Yeah, and a piece where every other level is a stat up.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, that'll be no fun to play against, but fun to watch, for sure. Cool. All right, well, let's move on to our last review. The other match in which we got to 6 touchdowns. Flyboys versus the Rats and Nim. And this one I got some notes on. Man. I think this one ended up looking closer than it was, which is always going to be the case against a natural one-turner. But even just like looking at the sheet, you can tell like what happened here. We got like 3 levels happening over on Flyboys, and then a ton of Kaz on the other side. 17 armor breaks to 2. It was pretty lopsided, and really I would say because the dice were failing the Rats and Nim. The humans decided to kick to the Rats, just to, because they, I think, probably calculated that the Rats and Nim would go for a one turn attempt, which they did. But the way the kick was placed, it ended up involving a handoff to the thrower, who was going to um, who was going to then take it up and toss it to Martin Brisby, but the handoff failed, and so the humans very rightly blitz the one turner and KO it, all on the first turn. So the Skaven are on plan B and on the back foot. This is essentially feels like a blitz to me, because nothing really happened for the Skaven before they did that one turn attempt. They were pretty much beelining for it, needed the reroll for it, but reroll didn't work. So humans just kind of blitz the one turner, KO it, like I said, and set up kind of a screen. They didn't really press in too much because Skaven are pretty fast, so they were pretty much set up midfield, making sure that nothing could get really past them. Turn 2, the Skaven thrower tries to pick it up and snakes it. They really, again, didn't do too much else on their turn. So the humans, who are pretty much set up on the line, punch a bunch of rats and push forward. They get sidestep on the ball, which the rats on turn 3 were able to push off. They actually KO'd the sidestep catcher that was there, which I believe was Chappie. But they didn't really have much of a cage to set up with the recovery. They do recover it, but the humans were able to then surround the cage the next turn. They badly hurt one of the storm vermin at that point too. And so Skaven being surrounded, they try to break free and get the ball midfield, which they do, but it's even less safe than that point. And so the humans were able to again surround the ball. It was barely midfield at that point. They blitz the gutter runner and get the knockdown, and recover the ball. They tried to pick it up, fumbled it, but then it plopped into somebody else's hands. So the Skaven react by blitzing the scoring threat, because the ball's midfield, but the humans have a piece that was upfield trying to deal with the Skaven thrower, and it's just standing there ready to score. So the Skaven blitz that, which I think was kind of reasonable, but don't get any knockdown. But they do mark the ball carrier before turning over. The humans try to get out, but they actually double skull on a what I would call a non-priority block. I feel like they should have focused on trying to get the ball carrier free, but they didn't. So turn 6, the Skaven have a mark on the ball, and they go to blitz it, but with an unskilled line rat who failed the dodge, so that's the reroll, and then failed the GFI on the way to the blitz, and KOs itself. all in one turn. It was pretty bad.
Wow.
The piece that was marking the ball carrier was a gutter runner, which I suppose they were thinking would be the recovery piece, but it was a wrestle gutter runner on a. I believe the ball carrier at that point was one of the catchers for the humans, so it was a strength 2 piece, and my thinking was just get a mark and then wrestle that piece down, but I can see them trying to get the ball away from all that scrum. So at that point, the humans, are pretty much able to take over. They blitz the ball carrier free. They move upfield and they have a cage. They surf the other storm vermin, which is how that got badly hurt. So yeah, rats are at turn 7 on it. Don't have any storm vermin. Don't have any rats left. Can't stop the score. I think they did some uphills or that sort of thing, but didn't get any damage or anything from it. So the humans score on turn 7, which I thought was interesting because it was the Skaven drive. The one turner's just KO'd and was able to come back. They were able to stall. I mean, they could have stalled another turn, but they decided not to. They don't get punished on turn 8. Instead, they get a perfect defense. However, the way they set that up was weird. And I don't really know how to set up a perfect defense against a one-turner. I mean, I would just like stack the line incredibly against that one side, but they had like a kind of like a weird conga line sort of setup that I assume was like to prevent it from like, I don't know, cutting diagonally, but it was weird, and the Skaven were able to score anyway. So it was then to the human. It was 1-1. The humans are on their turn 8, and they pull off a one turn. So they getting another Kaz on the way, but they were able to get a couple pushes, get their catcher in range, and get a score. So it's 2-1 for them going into their drive. Again, with like a ton of rats out of the game at this point. I think 7 rats were left at halftime. So yeah, I mean, as Tim Nielsen pointed out in chat, like this game wasn't even remotely close, even though the one turns kind of made it seem like it. They just rolled in the second half. They got, Kaz right out of the gate on the LOS. They secure the ball. The rats are like very far back. I think the humans did try to foul, which is where they lost their journeyman. But I probably would have done the same thing. They didn't get any damage from it, but humans just kind of move up and cage up. There was a fireball that came out from the Skaven, but it only got one knockdown, which didn't really give a good shot at the ball. They tried to red die, and it turned over. So yeah, the humans just kind of move up, and eventually on turn 13 they score. And then on the Skaven turn 13, there was a blitz.
Wow.
So the one turner again gets blitzed, this time gets stunned. And I believe it was a short kick, so the humans got under the ball and were able to catch it. In this point, I have no idea what was happening with Opie. They tried to dodge out the Roger, I guess, because the Roger dodges to like blitz the piece that caught the ball on the blitz and failed. So the humans just have the ball. They try to get some more damage. Doesn't work, but it doesn't matter. They move up. They're trying to get some SPP on specific pieces, which is why we see certain levels here. Eventually they do, and they score on turn on their turn 16. They finally get Richard Bong, aka Dick Bong, his level, and then the Skaven finally get a one turn that doesn't result in a kickoff result that wasn't a blitz or a perfect defense.
Nice.
So yeah, David pointing out, and I think David, you were watching this stream as well and pointed it out as well. Not having a wrestle strip gutter really hurt them, because there was like red die opportunities that could have been something if they actually had skills that worked for it. But they just had like Justin red dyeing people, which just isn't going to do anything. I understand trying it. And I think they, Opie Cubby put up a good fight, but it's just the way this team is developed is kind of a little awkward at this stage.
It's all potential.
Yeah, it really is. I don't know. Yeah, and just to reply to what Tim Nielsen said, the scoring in turn 7 was a strategic mistake. Because it really didn't help the humans, but it was interesting. It did end up netting them in the end a 2-1 advantage at halftime, which was wild. Just the levels of one turners firing off or being foiled. That's the case for the rats.
Sounds like a hell of a match.
Yeah. Certainly, if you're Flyboys, you're feeling good. You got you got the win in a week where Goatwork Orange lost, who was like the third place team to beat, and you got development on your blitzers, one of which was a rookie replacement for Mike Hawk. I think he had played one match before now, and now has their level. So so that pretty much wraps up the week. A lot of parity, I would say, this week. It was pretty interesting. Teams that were like, well, that solidifies this team as the second best team in the division.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna tie this week, or like there's some interesting developments as we will look at now in the leaderboards.
Let's move on to that.
Goblins.deck sitting very pretty right now. They're caught up now to Sterling Hornets, what we thought would be a pretty ridiculous TD differential to overcome. They're caught up with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they've got 2 points, 2-point advantage right now on the Hornets. So obviously that's still pretty close. And things could change week to week. I think I mentioned it either on last recap or on a stream, but these two teams will face off in the last match of the season.
Yeah.
So that could decide which of these two teams go to the playoffs, which of them goes to Challenger Cup. But I think both of them are in pretty good spot for one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, if Cloud Thulu can win the rest of his games, then he can guarantee to put himself in a position where if he then beats Goblin.deck, he goes to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So he is in a position where like his fate is in his hands, to the extent that in Blood Bowl your fate is ever 100% in your hands.
Right. And then we have what I would call tier 2 of the division, where we have Goatwork Orange, Tainted Brewers, myself, Arf, and Flyboys all within a point of each other. Mm-hmm. Looking at that, third place, maybe sneaking into second place, but it's first place is looking a little more out of reach at 4 points difference for Goatwork and Tainted, and then 5 point difference for Humans, Necro, and myself.
Yeah, you need this to first place now. For those teams, you need to have the Goblins.deck have like a couple bad weeks, and Sterling Hornets to have a bad week.
Yep.
And that's certainly not impossible, but it's certainly can't count on it.
Yeah. Though, I mean, I agree, Tim, that it is. You only have a 2-point lead on Sterling Hornets. You can't get too comfortable. That's 100%. But from this standpoint, you're looking pretty good, and things are gonna have to happen for somebody to overtake you. David, you haven't played either of the top two teams. That could change a lot for both you and for them. So speaking of All Bark No Bite, they're right there with Mean Green and Thick, kind of in our median tier, I guess. Mean Green Thick having a lot of ties this season. All Bark No Bite having a very up and down season. That's kind of our median line, I would say. With chances still, I guess, to go into a hot streak and change things up a little bit. Could be interesting. And then I think below that is, that, like I said, that's kind of our median line. Below that are teams that are looking more so for development, more so for, if they do go on a hot streak, it's a hot streak to then maybe put themselves in Division 3 or Tier 3, I should say.
Yeah, I would say that's right.
Cool. Anything else you want to add to that, or should we hop into our next little bit?
No. I think my comments I'll say for that.
Cool. Well, this was something that you put together, and very much appreciate taking the div predictor that just got updated by Drainar. Why don't you walk us through this?
Big thanks to him for having put together that program, which is like all of the hard work part of this. This takes in like the season schedule as played so far and the upcoming matches, and it tries to based upon that figure out each team's probability of making each spot. Obviously, this is working with very limited information, and so there's only so seriously you should take these results. But I think it's interesting to look at. And the things that I would call out here are some of which is very familiar from the last page, but I think reinforces it. We have goblins.deck way out in front place. I guess just to clarify this, the graph here is of like its predicted probability for each rank that each team might have. The chart on the right is a column of odds for first place, odds for first or second place, and then a column for odds of first or second or third place. So left is individual probabilities, right is cumulative probabilities.
Yes.
Hopefully not too confusing.
And I did wonder about that a little bit, yeah.
And what it shows us is, our top team is looking really great. Can't be too comfortable, but looking really good. It considers him to be Tim Nielsen to be twice as likely to actually get to go to the main playoffs as Clown Thulu. That said, of the non 50%, that's the goblins.deck portion. Clown Thulu then has a quarter, right?
Yeah.
Which means that there's like one quarter left to be split amongst everyone else.
Right.
And so it's not impossible that this group of 5 in the second tier that you called it goes there, but it's unlikely. I would say the thing that really jumps out to me is if you look at the graph on the left, we've got the brown line really up there, the yellow line for Sterling Hornets again really distinct, and then you have this pack of 5 or second tier, which whether you're looking at them like all of these lines twisted together there or the table on the right, that there's for our second our third place definitely, and even some for our second place, just like really competitive still. Yeah, that there's our first top 2 spots have really distinguished themselves, but after that, we really have this middle tier, and then it's the predictor's very pessimistic about everyone past that. Yeah. There's that huge drop off from, if we look at 1 through 3, we can see let's say 85, 66, then there's 30 through 20s section, and then it just goes down to mid single digits. And that's really where it's starting to get into. You're looking at development, you're looking at promotion to Div 3, and you have this group of 5 where you're going to need to do really well here on out because you have so many people you're competing against. But these are people who are still definitely in it as long as they keep winning. Right.
Yeah, and I think given that we have 5 more weeks left, 6 more weeks left. Each of those weeks we're gonna see this really start to define.
5 weeks left.
Okay, 5 weeks left. Yeah. So every one of these weeks is gonna change. Like this is gonna start to change drastically based on how things are going. Well, I guess maybe not, but like I'm playing. Goatwork Orange and myself are playing, and that's going to change. Yeah. For one of us, it's going to change drastically what things are looking like for us.
Yeah. So want to just start talking about the actual matches?
Yeah. Let's get into it. Yeah. So first up, we have Tainted Brewers. Our current 4th place team against Cross of the Empire, our 14th place.
This is one where if Pimp wants to be the one to emerge from that pack of 5, he's going to need to win this.
Yeah.
And that's it. I think he's very well equipped to do so. He's at the point where you're giving up 600 in inducements. Like there's nothing you can get with that to make up for how much better the Chaos Dwarves are. And it's gonna be a match with 5 journeymen for Pandito. I mean, maybe he buys something. He does have 130 in cash.
Yeah. Do you think he
But,
buys that second blitzer since we?
Yeah, I'd buy the blitzer.
Yeah, we finally see that the armor busted. Wait, was it double armor busted? It was double niggle, armor busted, move busted, or something. I don't know.
So the good skills were dodge, leap, and frenzy. Yeah, then it was armor bust, movement bust, double niggle.
Yeah, so that piece is finally gone. I think I mentioned in my review of that match, that piece was gone from the match in turn 1. Just does not stand a chance. If it's going to get hit and falls over, it's going to be gone. Most likely. So that piece got retired, but we don't see the replacement yet. I would definitely get one. It's such especially when you're going to be missing your other piece. And that's definitely better than a loner lineman.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise there's no block on the field.
Oh, wow.
I mean, who knows what a star player's going to have if that's what he goes for. He's got so much money that I assume you'll see, like, you could see 2 wandering apothecaries, and then there's another 400 to spend on.
Yeah, you could get 2
star players.
You could probably get 2 star players for that, maybe. I just like you said, though, this is gonna look. I think this will be pretty grim for Cross of the Empire. This is like a match Tana Brewers is built to play against.
Yeah.
They did get smacked around by Pro Elves before, but that was Pro Elves with a lot of block. And this Pro Elf team has taken so many casualties. I don't see how they're going to stem the bleeding against Chorfs that look like this.
Yeah. In terms of 2-star players, yes, you could get Eldril and Prince Moranian for 430 as a pair.
Yeah, there you go.
And that still leaves you 190. You could spend the 10 to scum, a couple wandering apothecaries. Lots of different options. But he will hopefully think about what he's going to buy ahead of time instead of trying to decide in 60 seconds.
Oh, is that happening?
It's like a minute or 2, right?
Yeah, I think it's 90 seconds, but I didn't realize that was happening. But for sure. Yeah, there's a lot to spend. So, and there's Wizard too. You probably do a Wizard.
You could, unless you're like, well, I'm just not going to win anyways, and Wizards don't keep me alive.
Wizards could.
But if you want to have fun, you get to Lightning Bolt, Ramses or Richard Burton.
Yeah, or just Peter Cook. The weakest.
Yeah, Tim Nielsen, Wizard, double Apo, and one of the Elf stars, and that makes sense to me. And that means you'll have to scum.
Yeah.
And so you would pick which one of Eldril or Prince Moranian you'd like better.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 of them. I mean, I don't
probably
know.
More than you need.
Probably. I've never been in a matchup like that, so I don't know.
If you just wanted fodder, you'd be better off doing a couple mercs for the same price.
Yeah. Yeah, David, I agree with that. I think we did talk about how Across the Empire needs cash to like reinfuse this team with players, so winning would be good for them. Just think it's going to be very much an uphill battle.
Well, and it forces your opponent to play the ball and to protect the ball and to make moves that make that happen rather than just murder.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that would be a good way to focus your energy.
Tim Nielsen saying it's 2 minutes to that you get to decide and do something. It's 2 minutes is not a lot of time when you're trying to bounce so many options.
Yeah.
If you're like, I have 100 to spend, is it an apothecary or a bribe? It's like that's fine. But I feel like the point where multiple star players are an option, and like the one's 200, one's 230. Which do you do based on all the other stuff you're picking? You probably want to decide.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Oh, my match.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not having Hessenite out there is very nice, but I assume they can just get a Merc or a star player. That's, I mean, not as nice as Hessenite.
Yeah, the
But
the
just
star player that
beefy.
jumped out to me was Lord Borak. You can get him for
Yeah.
300. He's 5539 is his stat line, and he's obviously loner, but then block, dirty player, mighty blow. You don't use the dirty player,
Yeah.
but block, mighty blow. You don't need claw against Norse. I mean, it would be
No.
nice for hitting the Yeti and the Ulfs,
Eh.
but it's
AV8
not that.
breaks. Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's still only AV8. It's not that big a deal. It's more just the piling on, the additional strength on the field, the additional guard on the field.
Yeah.
Because right now you have as much guard as him,
Mm-hmm.
and you have it on actually players that are stronger than what he's got it on. Since it's 2 Ulfs for you and it's 2 Beastmen for him.
Oh, he's got a Chaos Warrior with.
He's got 1 Chaos Warrior with guard.
Yeah.
But you have 2 Ulfs.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep.
And you've got as much mighty blow. You'll have the only claw. So he does have to keep an eye on like the bash game. Now he's got better armor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what happens here because I'm curious to see, are you going to play this as you're an elf team and try to stay away from him, or are you going to say, actually, you know what, with Hessenite out, maybe I can bash this.
Yeah, I don't know which way I'm going to go either. I really do not.
Might depend on someone's inducements too, right?
Yeah.
If Lord Borak hits the field, then he gets a lot stronger.
Yeah.
If instead he's buying, like a wizard and bribes and stuff, it's well, now I'm gonna go kill Santal, and then I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, Logic's in chat saying that the Minnow Star is pretty good. I don't know what that looks like actually.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. That's I think that's Grashnak.
Oh yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah, Grashnak is 6628 stat line, loner, frenzy, horns, mighty blow, thick skull. So he's a strength 6 piece is what makes him special. I like Lord Borak better because he's got block.
Yeah.
Grashnak is pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, no wild animal, they're saying.
Yes, that is true. Does not have wild animal. So he is a
Fun
better
from that
version of that
perspective.
Minotaur, but I like Grashnak better on short teams who can't take Lord Borak. If it's Chaos and Urgo, I like Borak.
Yeah, we'll see, David, how the first couple turns go.
Yeah.
But I'd like to have kind of a game plan, especially if I win the toss, like what I want to push for. So we'll see. I'll try to think about it. No time set up for the match, and I don't know. It'll definitely be a good one, and probably a season-defining one for both of us, whichever way.
Yeah,
it
whoever
goes.
loses has a big problem in trying to even make 3rd place.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, I'm already just on the cusp right now. So, yeah, I need a win. Tie doesn't really help, especially against this team that's already a point ahead of me. So, yeah, should be fun. I feel good about my team. I just, need them to do some stuff, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Oh, next up. Oh man, yeah, that's right. I knew this one was scheduled, but kind of forgot that was this week. Sterling Hornets versus All Bark No Bite. So David, this one's yours. Holy shit, that casualty differential. It's looking worse and worse each week.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50, only 50 going to the Wood Elves, which is a bummer. I guess, Sterling Hornets are down Ryan Rosewatch, which is pretty big. But they still have a really nice team.
Yeah. And possibly a piece that was going to be less useful in this match, that if David Leclerc decides he's just going to score really fast and not let them get near the ball, your strip ball dude is less valuable, potentially.
Yeah.
Not that he doesn't have value still.
Right.
But as compared to him being a threat to, like a chaos ball carrier.
Oh, yeah. David's saying he thinks it's a 20k differential instead of 50. But I mean, at the point you're talking about that, it's not like this is going to change decision factor.
Right.
If David gets 50.
And it depends on what the level is.
Yeah. Is he talking about Walnut?
I think he's talking about Walnut.
Yeah.
I think I factored in that 20. That's generally how I do that. Is I assume that it will be a normal, and if it's more, then it'll be more. So it should be, I think, 40.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because it's plus movement, like he's saying. Then yeah, it's an additional 10.
It's possible I messed it up. He should check. Like he should double check that for his actual match.
Yeah.
Not that it's gonna be a big difference either way.
I don't. Yeah. It's either you're getting a babe or you're not. It doesn't really change how you're playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is one. Yeah, where all bark, no bite. No bite is going to want to try to make a statement, and take this one away from Clown Thulu. And Clown Thulu, if he wants to hold on to second, like he's in second place. If he stumbles, a bunch of teams looking to overtake him.
Yep. Yeah, right behind him. But yeah, I mean, we've seen 8 games now. Cthulhu's going to take their time and bash, and they play the bashy elf game. And so, yeah, it may very well depend on, or kind of like the crux of it will be, how does David's armor dice roll? Which this season has not been that good. Yeah. But, it's a different game, so we'll see. But, I'm thinking, like, even if they're scoring fast, like, Sterling Hornets is not interested in that game, and they're gonna slow things down, punch stuff, and it will be whether if David Leclerc can somehow steal the ball off Sterling Hornets, which is not something most teams are able to attempt. That could be huge. But like the Hornets have been really religious about keeping the ball protected and punching stuff still.
Yeah.
So it will be tough, but pitch invasions can happen where the whole other team can be knocked over.
Yeah.
Speaking from a positive experience I had. So yeah, Sunday at 7, that'll be good. Seems like Clown Cthulhu's been pretty consistent in putting up a stream. So I didn't catch their stream this past week to know if it was if there was any technical issues this time around, but it'll at least be available for folks to watch.
Yep.
Oh dang, this is a big one too. Goblins.deck versus Flyboys. With Goblins.deck getting...
confirming that he'll be at 1750, so
I
messed that one up.
Oh, okay. Still, they get 100k.
At 20, he probably... I think he don't scum the babe.
Wait, what? Oh, you're talking about... Oh, okay. Still talking about last match. Gotcha.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Yeah, at 20, yeah, you probably don't. Even though it will probably... Having the babe would probably be pretty nice.
But, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know that it's worth... When you only have 60k in the bank, if that's true, then, yeah, that's kind of tough to give up 30. Half of that, right?
But yeah, the match in front of us. So yeah, here we have Tim Nielsen. If he wants to stay in first place, he's got to win his matches.
Yeah. Yep.
And he'll be looking to win this one against an opponent who I don't think will be necessarily a total pushover.
Right.
He will be able to.
Right.
I gotta think you scum a wizard when you're at
1040,
160, 150
or 140. Yeah. I think you probably do with the pieces that you got to do that with.
Yeah. And he's certainly got the pieces that can take apart this human team, right? He's got the Claw Mighty Blow and the Mighty Blow Tackle for those dodge pieces.
Yep.
He's got those great gutter runners, one for every utility he needs out of them. He doesn't have the natural one-turner yet. He's still working on Murderous Redcap. But only needing one push, not that bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just got have to make sure he doesn't get outbashed by the you got the ogre as bringing a lot of strength and like a bunch of nice blitzers.
Ogre is back.
For this matchup, you'd want tackle on Richard Ritchie 2.0. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, interesting. Both teams at a +5 casualty differential. Skaven giving more and taking more, which we've seen and talked about with Tim's game of fouling a bunch of pieces. Which, yeah. I kind of wonder if they go for a bribe instead of a wizard. But I do think, Flyboys has...
Tim also thinks he's almost only going to wizard.
Yeah. Oh, he is? Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, Flyboys has agility to counter the wizard, but I don't think they have enough overall to really... kind of wash out.
And holding too deep, unless you have holding trying to hold away from where it's just so hard to run from the gutter runners.
Yep. To
put the ball in a position where it's far enough back the gutter runners can't get to it, and then your team's out of position, or you had so much back that you're not making progress.
Yeah.
That I don't see how you hide from them.
Right.
So the wizard seems really valuable.
Yeah. Two of them have movement up. What are you gonna do? Yeah, for Klepto, it is an opportunity for them to get their statement in. But it's gonna be tough. You're gonna have to outscore the Skaven and Flyboys. Other than this past match, in which they did outscore Skaven 4-2, they're gonna have to have the same sort of match happen, where they're getting removals left and right. And putting Goblin.deck on their back foot for the first time this season.
Yeah. So if they can do that, but it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, definitely.
Eddie and Billy both have sure hands to respond to the chat, because human throwers are nice, sure hands and pass.
Yeah, Billy Mitchell's an interesting thrower build with guard.
Yeah, he's an expensive lineman to get more guard. And true, carrying with Eddie, if you get wizard, that's a mighty blow hit to a...
Yeah, straight to the injury.
Very nice piece. And same if Chuck Yeager ends up trying to run off with it. He's niggled. He takes a bolt.
Mm-hmm.
And just that much higher chance of him going out.
Yeah, I guess that's
and also air power, which could be real. There's we have a mighty blow claw strength up Stormvermin.
Mm-hmm.
If he can get he'll be surrounded with guard, so I don't think we're actually going to see a lot of attention on him.
Yeah.
But if he gets separated, that there'd be some value, just kill that piece.
Yeah. So I think, like we said, Flyboys does have, most likely they'll have 2 blitzers with tackle that could hunt down some gutter runners, but I don't know. I feel like most teams have not had time to be able to do that because they're getting fouled into the ground.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is another match, just like folks were saying about the last match with me and Troxburghs. It could be defined pretty clearly in the first couple turns, what way, what way these coaches want to take the match and if that's going to work for them.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm very curious to see this match. I think it. Mm-hmm. I think it could go. It could go either way, and I'm curious to see how each of these coaches deal with their opponent.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this one doesn't have a dedicated streamer that's playing. So Tim, if you all get that nailed down, let us know in the Discord, so we can maybe try to stream it. I'm pretty busy this weekend, but if it happens at night, I could possibly stream or hop on a stream for it.
Yeah, I think it'd be one nice for us to stream if we can make the timing work, but that'll be when it. So, but yes, please just let us know.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. And the other, guess the other Skaven versus OG teams matchup for the week. You got Orcs versus Skaven, Mean Green and Thick versus the Rats and Nim.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is, we kind of, at least with the predictor and the leaderboard, both of these teams are, Orcs are on the fringe, Rats and Nim are pretty firmly outside of the fringe for making the postseason. But, both have a lot to play for. I think the Skaven want to have a bounce back game after, the humans thrashed them pretty good. They really need to get some development going to really look towards next season. I think Tim made a comment earlier. I didn't really mention it, but this is a team you might think about re-rolling if you didn't already have the natural one-turner.
I'd agree. This is, the remainder of this season for OP Cubby has to be getting a team put around Martin Brisby that is worth bringing back.
Yeah.
Because right now he doesn't really have that, right? Justin kind of sucks. Nicodemus has wrestle. Could have been was building towards something you'd want, but now he's armor busted. He's not gonna be around, not necessarily gonna be around all that much longer. You need to get more gut runners. You need to get the Storm Vermins something.
Yeah, that's what we had. Yeah, both Tim and David saying get those vermin leveled, and then you start having a team. Like the gutter runners are always going to be running around and doing things. Get those vermin leveled as quick as possible, and then you start having the backbone to your team. But it's tough to look at this team and be like, just bring them back, because other than Martin Brisby, what do they even have that you can't get through the Greenhorn if the Greenhorn comes back? You just a couple matches in the Greenhorn, you get almost the same team value out of that 4 matches.
Yeah, it's only Martin Brisby. He's really compelling in the
Yeah.
But we'll see. You do what you can with the remaining 5 matches. You try to get Storm Vermins, something. You try to maybe get a wrestle, gutter runner going that isn't armor busted.
Yeah.
And have enough cash to have go into another season. Div 4. You don't want to be in Div 3.
Yeah. Right.
Get you to try to develop.
Yeah. And then on the other side, we have this orc team that has been growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
And they are looking very solid, especially for this matchup. They have 6 guard going in here.
Yeah.
They're going to be very comfortable just hanging out with every single rat on the field. Just be like, what are you going to do? You gonna try to punch me? Because it's gonna come back twofold. This is a pretty good matchup for them. That said, we've had it before where Martin Brisby just scores twice, and it's a 2-2 tie.
Yeah, that is entirely possible, right? Martin Brisby scores turn 1 and turn 16.
Yeah.
And then the orcs are I can 8 turn.
Right. Now
but, that only gets you a tie.
Yeah. That said, there's not a lot that are gonna be able to protect Martin Brisby through a onslaught of orcs. We saw Clown Cthulhu, who's been armor of the gods, going to meet the orcs last week. The orcs beat him up. You can see in the casualty differential, they're doing work. So it's gonna be tough to keep Martin Brisby defended. They're not gonna be able to keep him off the pitch the whole match outside of those 1 turns, unless it just gets KO'd.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. because the gutter runners can dodge away. There's only going to be 2 of them on the field, but they can dodge away and try to protect themselves. Line rats and storm vermin, the thrower, are just AG3, and if you're dodging them every turn, they're going to be failing. They're going to be hitting the ground. They're going to be stunning and KOing themselves. And the orcs are going to be happy to base everything up, right? Because they got more strength, they got a ton of guard, they got block all over the place.
Yep. Yeah, and yeah, I don't disagree with folks in chat saying to go for the 3-2 win. It's something I wish I'd done against this Skaven team. Been a little bit more aggressive, because just scoring twice wasn't enough. So yeah, I think if Gojira wants to go for it, it could happen. Because there's as great as Merton Brisby is, there's no ball sacking gutter runner. Like, there's nothing to get around and harry the orcs at all. Like, it's just like they'll be looking at those storm vermin and other, and Justin, and being like, what are you gonna do? So yeah, could be be interested to see how this goes. But I think this is like the point in which Gojira's been really patient getting his team leveled up and kind of prepared through this season. I think this is the point where they can start rattling off, at least rattling off a win here. Seems pretty doable.
Yep.
All right, next match. Silkwood, Arfar Femin Elf versus Silkwood City Slickers. Arfar, of course, coming off of their big win against Go Work Orange. So they're in 6th place right now, 4-2-2, which I think is the same record I have, and maybe even the humans have, I think.
They're part of the group of 3 that's the lower part of the group of 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're in a position where they need to win the rest of their matches to make it to some sort of playoffs, and this is one they need to win. And it's not necessarily going to be a trivial match for them. No,
definitely not.
They're giving up a wizard. I gotta assume that's what it is, and against a Wood Elf team that it's going to be running a lot of linemen, a lot of journeymen, but it's not the worst thing in the world, and the pieces that will be on the pitch are good.
Yeah, they're real good. And Raven Poe plays like a, I don't know if it's super similar to how Ponosaurus is kind of like a gunslinger type necro coach. Raven Poe definitely plays the Wood Elves fast and loose, and I think that works out better for Wood Elves than necro in a matchup like this, but who's to say? I kind of like the Wood Elves to pull the, it's not really an upset, but from the standings standpoint, I could see them pulling out the upset here. But yeah, they'll need to not fail some key roles as all elves, do.
We got some predictions in chat that Wood Elves are the favorite here. From Wood Elf coach, so could be right. I mean, the Necro team is not necessarily super adept at dealing with this team, and one of their strong suits, right? Like all of the blodge pieces that they've put together.
Yeah.
What am I even missing one? I think I might be.
Really? I don't think so. I think you got it.
Okay. Anyways, the elves don't care about that because they're going to dodge away anyways.
Right. Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, if they start taking damage, the elves could be in trouble, and there are definitely pieces that could do that to them.
Yeah. Yeah. David's saying the matchup. Necro v Wood Elves favored Wood Elves, which would be I haven't looked at the ELO stuff, but that usually has that in there as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's my feeling as well. So I agree. And I think the Wood Elves have, especially getting the Wizard, and I don't think like their journeymen are fine. Like they can just dodge around, and obviously we've seen it happen for Raven Poe where the loner lineman fails a dodge that they really needed to work, and he has to try to get through loner. But I don't know. I think he has enough pieces healthy for this match that could really swing this fully in their favor.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So that brings us to the last matchup.
Yeah, 12 versus 13.
Yeah. Two teams that have been scored on a lot. But then we have, I think this is the casualty differential leader in the Khemri. They got plus 12 against minus 15, I think, for the High Elves. But yeah, we're seeing the High Elves, they have a few more pieces to get really funky with this match.
It's two teams that have like struggled, have a poor record so far, but are in fine shape.
Yeah. I think the Khemri are actually gonna be pretty happy with how their development is going. Obviously the record's not there, but I think they were probably thinking, I think they've gone on record to say this, that this season has been more of getting those Tomb Guardians that second level, and really just putting the hurt on teams in the process.
And so this is getting brought up in chat. It's gonna be a question of, you're going to see the Khemri basing stuff up and just doing lots of hits and trying to get stuff down, and it's going to be a question of, does Blodge keep the High Elves alive, or the 5 pieces on the field that won't have either block or dodge or wrestle. If those leave the field real quick, the other ones are going to get exposed, and you can see Ultra Craig do some work, and the 2 fouling skeletons. Not that you can't foul without dirty player, but
right.
You could just see the damage game slip away from him. But other than that, I think it's a game where you might easily see Dark Cannon win. But Craig Pitpup have a perfectly good match where he gets some armor breaks, gets some development on those Mighty Blue Tomb Guardians.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely one. I'm guessing that they're wishing the Khemri are wishing they were in their home stadium, because that would have netted them a free bribe, which I think would have definitely favored their, ability to lean into the foul game. They're still gonna do it, but yeah, I think, take it from me, you're always gonna see Ultra Craig, do some things, but yeah, I could see it being just like you're saying, the High Elves winning, and maybe taking some damage along the way. But again, with Blodge, they really might be able to keep all their high skill pieces away from that damage, and you're just seeing linos or loner linos, taking the brunt of it.
Yeah.
Cool. So, again, both teams just looking to further develop, and I think, interestingly, it could work out for both of them, since they're looking at different ways to do that development.
Yeah,
and that brings us to the end of the week. Or end of the previews, I should say. So thanks to David and Tim for chiming in a bunch in chat. And I think there's a couple other folks that threw in some random comments. Always good to have some chatter, and yeah, it feels weird. I'm starting to get a little sad that we're coming closer towards the end of the season. I think you and I have talked about doing some sort of like potential blowout at the end.
Yeah,
we can talk a little bit more offline about that and make an announcement about that if we decide to go that route. But this has been really fun. Looking forward to this. Each and every Thursday, or if we switch it up Wednesday, and just been fun to talk about the division and have people in chat is always nice too.
Yeah, a lot of fun matches to watch, and there's been a lot of great involvement by the div, and that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, even coaches that have been struggling this season. I know Pandito and Cross of the Empire have really been taking the brunt of it a lot of weeks, and they've been scheduling their matches, showing up, and really staying a part of it all, which hats off to them. It's when you see the season is completely lost and your team is not working at all, it feels each match does not feel that great, but I appreciate them staying involved and staying engaged with what's going on.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks again to everyone watching, and everyone have a great week 8. We'll see you next week for week 9 recap.